I had no idea that we were actually subscribing to 10 streaming services and spending about $120 a month to do so. If you're like me, you probably have no idea how much money is going out the door on things like subscription services, or that there are ways for you to save a couple of dollars here, a couple of dollars there every month. It all sort of adds up. So stay tuned. I've got a list of 7 ways that you can save some money. Number 7 is kind of interesting. So here we go. Hi, welcome to Mimi and More. In today's video, we're going to talk about ways that we can save money or costs that we didn't even know that we were incurring and how we can wrangle those in. So number 1 on the list, subscription services. So my husband and I watch quite a bit of TV, but I actually had no idea how much money or how many subscription services we were subscribed to until I sat down and make a list. I went through the list. There are actually 10 in total. And we're spending actually $120 a month on these services. So when I did the math, I realized that that's a lot of TV watching, and we really can only watch a couple of hours a night, if that. So I went down the list and I decided that we would eliminate 3 and that we could rotate things in and out. So when you think about it, streaming services, unless you're that person, and it's okay if you are, that has to watch things as soon as they, come out. All of these things can be binge watched, right? So you don't really need to hold on to one service because, you watch 1 or 2 shows on them. In the meantime, you're spending $8, $9, $10 a month, and sometimes you're not even tuning in. So I figured if we pulled out 3, maybe even 4, and then we just rotate them back in and out. But when you add it all up, for us, it was roughly about $1,000, give or take. No, actually $1,200 a year on streaming. And I figure if I do this sort of take 3 out, put 3 back in rotation, I can probably save us a good $300 a year. Now, it may not seem like a lot, but when you add it up to some other things we can save on, it really will make a difference. So number 1 on the list was streaming services. So I hope you'll take some time, make a list, and see how much money you have going out the door and how many services you're actually subscribing to. Number 2 on the list is clothing. So I work from home almost 100% of the time. And now that I'm not going into an office any longer, and I haven't really since COVID, I just don't need that sizable wardrobe that I used to have. And so I realized that I can really get away with very, very few pieces. So when looking at buying new clothing, when I do love to buy new clothing, but I just kind of took a look at what was in my closet already. And how many pairs of slacks do you really, really need? So I'm not somebody who spends a ton of money on clothes, but, if you don't need, 10, 12, 20 pairs of pants, you can really get by with, a couple pairs of jeans, couple pairs of dressier slacks, dresses, whatever, you like to wear. But if you look at your wardrobe and how much you really need on a day-to-day basis, I think you'll find that it's much, much less than you think it will. So if you're someone who spends a lot of money on clothing, you may find a way to cut back here. I certainly did by realizing I just don't need a ton of clothes anymore. So I hope you'll give this one a look into as well. And that actually morphs me into the next one, which is number 3, and that is selling your clothing online or using some sort of consignment online place to sell your clothing. So I recently did a purge because I've lost 36 pounds to date. I'm very proud of that. But I've done a purge and went through all my clothes, and I realized that I buy good quality clothing, and somebody else should really be able to take advantage of this because honestly, there's nothing wrong with the clothes. They just don't fit me anymore, or I just have, too many of them. So I found there's a lot of places online, on Marketplace and other areas that you can actually go ahead and sell your clothing. If you like a particular designer, there's lots of groups that you can join that, are having clothes sold by a particular designer or manufacturer. If you've had a weight loss, there's a lot of places that you can sell your bigger clothes to people who, as they progress on their journey as well. So there's some great places online that you can look to sell your clothing. There's also a lot of online consignment places, and the ones I use, I will list in the description below if you want to take advantage of them. One in particular has a deal going on for the month of January if you want to grab it. But in these online consignment places, you have an opportunity where they will put your clothes up online and consign them. And if they make a sale, the money is yours. And after, I think it's, most of them are like about 90 days, if they don't sell the clothing that you sent to them, they will then donate it. So the good thing is that the clothes are going to a donation that's not filling up a landfill, that someone who is in need will, have an opportunity to get the clothing. So it's a great way, if not even to make some money, but just to find a way to repurpose clothing so that someone else who needs them can have an opportunity to use things that you just don't have a use for anymore. If you're enjoying the content so far, please consider giving me a thumbs up and subscribing if you'd like to know when I post additional videos. Now let's get back to the content for this week. The next one on the list is borrowing books from the library via some apps. So I own a Kindle, and I would always, whatever book I was reading, I would always just buy the Kindle version of the book. And recently I joined a book club, and I just realized that I'm not going to read the book again. My husband and I don't share the same taste in literature. He's not going to read the books that I read, so I'm not going to share them with him. And then I was purchasing all these books, and just, I don't want to say wasting the money, because I did read them, but I finally bit the bullet, went to my local library, got a library card, and then downloaded an app. And there are a couple, I will list them again in the description, where you can actually borrow books from the library, ebooks, and for free. And so you don't have to leave the confines of your house. Some of you might find it difficult to get out to the library, or it's just a pain, and then you've got to have maybe a limit on the loan period, and you're rushing back so as to bring the book back on time or not incur late fees. But it's just, you just do it all through an app. I found it a great way to gain books. And I've only put it on a couple months ago, and I've already borrowed like maybe 5 or 6 books. So if you look at the average Kindle price of $12-15 for an ebook, it can be quite a savings, couple of $100 during the course of the year if you're an avid reader. So that's another one on the list, borrowing books from your local library through some apps that are available to you. Number 5 on the list is taking advantage of discounts for seniors. So if you're not a senior, you want to skip ahead to the next part. I understand that, but there are quite a few discounts that are available to seniors. And when I say seniors, you don't necessarily even have to be 65. Some are actually available at a much younger age. And while there was a part of me that was loath to admit that I was creeping up in those 60s, there are some great discounts out there. For example, Walgreens and Rite Aid have 20% off on Tuesdays, the first Tuesday of every month for seniors. So that's a great advantage. 20% off is a lot. It's a good advantage to take. If you're a crafter or a Michaels shopper, you get 10% off all the time at Michaels. Dunkin' Donuts, if you're a coffee lover, if you buy a certain size, they'll give you a bigger size for no extra charge. There are supermarkets that will offer discount seniors different days of the week. I live in the Northeast, and there really actually, unfortunately, aren't a lot in this area. But in other parts of the country, there are definitely grocery stores that give, it's usually a 5 or 10% discount off to seniors. There's some travel discounts that you can have, and I'll put all of these links in the description below. But if you can save 10% off your groceries and do a haul, a one time a month haul in a drugstore, and getting some of the things you need, it can rack up to be significant savings during the course of the year. So take a look into discounts that are available to seniors, and again, I'll put some links in the description below. Number 6 on the list is getting your eyewear online, or buying it at a warehouse store like Costco. So I've been wearing glasses now for maybe the last 10 plus years, and I've now morphed into a progressive lens, and they are quite expensive. And I realized over the years that even with a prescription plan for vision, that I actually pay about 1/3 less by going through an online company to buy my glasses. And that includes both the frames and the lenses. So I bought some glasses about a year and a half ago at a physical brick and mortar place that was honored, I guess, or was supported by my vision program that I had for my insurance. And I still paid like upwards of $600+ for these 2 pairs of glasses. And I just got 2 pairs of glasses online and I paid $230. And, I don't see any differently out of the $600 glasses, believe you me. So there's a lot of money to be saved. So you just have to, when you get your prescription from your doctor, you just plug that into their system. You pick out your lenses, your frames, that you like. There's a way you try them on. It's really kind of easy, and it saves a tremendous amount of money, especially if you're someone who's updating your prescription every year. The other place to look is Warehouse Club. So I can't speak for Sam's or BJ's because I don't have a membership, but I do have a Costco membership. And their glasses are also much less expensive. Their lenses are much less expensive at Costco. Even their frames are a lot cheaper. They also, I don't know if you know this, but if you've got a pair of frames that you got someplace else, not 100% of the time, so let me be clear that, not all the time, but sometimes, depending on the frame, if you bring them to Costco, they will, even if you didn't buy the frames there, they will refill. They will give you the new script for your lenses in your existing frames. And again, they won't do it for every frame. They may make you sign a waiver that says if they break your glasses, they break your frames, they're not liable. And I'm like, well, can you just be careful then? Don't break them. But definitely take a look. And again, I'll link where I go in the description below. But you can definitely save a considerable amount of money by going through an online retailer for frames and prescriptions. So give that one a try. And the last one on the list, and certainly not least, is checking out the opportunity to buy your prescription drugs from some online pharmacies. And when I say online pharmacies, I mean reputable pharmacies. So you do some research here. But I found a couple of online pharmacies that I could get my prescription medication cheaper than going through my insurance. And so the cost savings is probably for me going to be about $300 this year by using online pharmacies to fill my meds versus actually submitting, going through my insurance through an online pharmacy provided by my insurance plan to get my prescriptions. So they don't have necessarily all the drugs. They do definitely have the more common used drugs. If you're on high blood pressure, cholesterol, things like antibiotics, and these companies are adding more and more to the list all the time. So I highly recommend just go on the sites, take 5 minutes, plug the name of your drug in, and see if there's any savings for you. And then you will need your physician to rewrite you a script and send it to the new place. But do the research. But I think you'll find that there may be an opportunity to really save some money there on some prescription drugs. So I hope that's an interesting find for you and you'll give it a try. So that wraps up this week's video. I hope you'll find this information helpful to you and you'll check out some of the sites that I am referencing down in the description. If you liked what you heard, please consider giving me a thumbs up and hitting the subscribe button so you know when my next video will be out. That red button is down here somewhere in the corner. Thanks again for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Thanks so much. Have a great week.